GT World Challenge Australia this weekend returns as we get ready to go racing. We have plenty of manufacturers. We have Audi, we have Porsche. We also have the good old BMW, which is not in GT World Challenge Australia, but hopefully soon in the distant future. Chevrolet as well, we want in the distant future. You can't go a series without Ferrari, and you can't even go a series without a Ford Mustang. Ford Mustang soon to be added to the roster as well. Lamborghini as well. You cannot go a GT series without Lamborghini, along with a McLaren Artura that is in this series, and the very old dominant Mercedes AMG as well, and the up-and-coming Porsche 911, or the 992, if you would call it. There are plenty more action, though, throughout Europe, throughout Asia, throughout Australia, and of course, we kicked off our season at Australia with Mercedes looking very strong. In America, it was all things Porsche back there in America, with Porsche with extended races in America. In Asia, it was all about Porsche as well. In Europe, we kicked off in Paul Ricard with Lance Stroll joining the team and Max Verstappen looking on the background with Mara Engel. It was an exciting start to the Porsche, to the GT World Challenge Europe, with a car spearing off to the right-hand side, one of the Porsches, and along with a Lamborghini spinning around. Mercedes looked strong in the early part of the race, but it wasn't enough after a late race safety car with one of the Mercedes, putting them at an advantage. Putting one of the Aston Martins at an advantage forced the Mercedes off the road, and the Aston Martin ended up coming through to win the race. The 007 Aston Martin won the race for the Aston Martin team. GT World Challenge America continued over in COTA. COTA bringing on all the action with a 4-hour race over in COTA, bringing on all the action. It started off well for Mercedes and along with a few other cars as well. But in the end, it was just not enough, with pit stops going through, tyre changes happening as well. But in the end, a bit of contact there with one of the Mercedes. But in the end, it was enough. Mercedes won in GT World Challenge America, fending themselves off for what will be an amazing season that is still to come. We then head off to Asia for GT World Challenge Asia, and it was a very strong start for Frau Pampao in the Ferrari, but Porsche, unfortunately, with their awful luck, just couldn't keep their way. But there was, so coincidentally, a Porsche winning in the end, with a Ferrari and an Aston Martin making contact. In race 2, though, it was completely different. Both Ferraris making contact, with a Porsche in the end winning. Frau Pampao winning once more in GT World Challenge Asia. In GT World Challenge Europe, it was all about this sprint race, and boy oh boy did that kick off. It kicked off in a heck of a style, with one of the Porsches being speared off the road, heavy contact into the barriers. One of the BMWs as well. Plenty of fights up and down the field to talk about, along with pit stops that were made throughout the race. And the Ferrari was very strong once more, and Porsche winning in race number 2. So that is all of what has been in GT World Challenge, and we're expecting it to stay exactly the way it is. Hello everybody and welcome to GT World Challenge Australia. And we're not too far away here from race start for GT World Challenge Australia. And if you missed race number 1, it all went the way of the 44 guy by Valmont Mercedes car that would eventually end up taking the win overall in the trophy class. It was all the way over 14 Aston Martin Vantage AMR GT3 car that would eventually end up taking the win. But this race is completely different. And we've got some brand new faces at the front of the field as well. We've got the 66 Move My Wheels car at the front of the field for this one, alongside the number 1 Audi that has already got a success ballast alongside him, a success penalty, as we'd call it. So what that practically is less pace is given to the car, more weight is put on the car, meaning more downforce through the corners, helps them through the corners, not so much through the straights, which will become a bit of an evident problem for some of those drivers there. The other car that has that success balance on it is the Paulicini Jada No Jada 66 Move My Wheels Mercedes AMG by Tigani Motorsports car that also has that success ballast on the back of it, which will become a bit of a factor, I would only imagine, in this race, along with the Tigani Motorsports Mercedes AMG as well. So watch out for that this weekend. Watch out for that 66 possibly to drop back a little bit in this one. I won't be surprised if it does, due to that success ballast. Now, we're not too far away here from a start. The grid is being cleared, meaning we're getting closer to some racing action here for GT World Challenge Australia. And if you missed yesterday's race, then, well, you're absolutely crazy. With 1 hour of pure action, pure racing, and, well, to be honest, you can't get any better than pure action and pure racing. As we're about to get some of the highlights up on screen for you in just a few moments' time. As I said, grid is being cleared, but let's take a look at race number 1's highlights. And it was all about the Guy Valmont Mercedes off the start. It was almost identical between the Guy Valmont and the Audi as they run towards turn number 1. The Guy Valmont Mercedes under brakes led to turn number 1. You can see there the Audi of which was Brad Schumacher, squeezing one of the Ferraris to the inside of the road down there at turn number 1. The race then unfolded. We started to settle down into a bit of a rhythm. No safety cars in race number 1, which sort of planed out the race a little bit. We did see a spin for the number 2 Audi that would eventually see that car spinning around. Of course, at that point, the grass was quite wet. Offline, meaning not much grip and not much chance to get back on the tarmac. You can see there, this was the Aston Martin battling for the trophy class lead as he went down the inside of the 666 Audi, but would then go back at him, and they would go side by side until they hit turn 6, and, well, unfortunately, that battle would end. Side by side, they continued to run. You see the Aston Martin Vantage would go way off the ripple strip and nearly into the grass there. And then we also had a spin for the number 1 Audi, which was quite huge in this race. This was, by the way, all before the pit stop started. Then we had the Polish 56 Mercedes car go down the inside of one of the McLarens. He got that move done. Of course, that 56 Mercedes actually got a drive-through penalty at the start of the race for a starting procedure, which shafted that car a little bit. We then saw pit stops get underway, and the 44 Mercedes team, the Guy Valmont team, just continued to run through their procedure. They made their pit stop. They actually didn't change tyres, which was quite a big factor. The number 1 Audi did, though. They changed tyres. It wasn't enough. They ended up finishing 5th in that race. Rain started to fall. It wouldn't become a factor. We did see some of the 66 Move My Wheels car try and make overtakes. It would eventually not happen. The 26 Ferrari was pressured by the fresh rubber of the number 1 Audi underneath it, but it wasn't enough either. This man won race number 1, GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS, race number 1, the Guy Valmont team, which would be won by Brendan Leach and Sergio Perez. So, that was a hectic race 1. We've still got race 2 to happen, ladies and gentlemen. And this is some of the reaction from race one's highlights there yesterday in the cool down room. Down towards turn number 1, you can see there's some of the drivers reacting. They're the LEE Ferrari crew reacting as well. We've also got Tom Randall in that as well. So yeah, their reaction as big as ours, with not much action, but overall it is still a good race. Definitely still a good race. We're not too far away now from race start here for GT World Challenge Australia. The final action of the weekend, it was a bit quieter in terms of the streams than what I was expecting, to be completely honest with you. I was going to stream the Nürburgring 24 hours, but the high chance of copyright sort of stopped me in my tracks there. So, let's take a look at the starting grid for race 2. Jaden Ojeda starts the 66 Move My Wheels by Tagani Motorsport car over the Guy Valmont Mercedes, then followed by Brock Feeney in position 3, Garnet Patterson, Tom Randall, Oscar Target, Ryan Wood, Josh Pecan, Luke Yilden in the Trophy Cup leads them away. Jackson Evans, Tony D'Alberto, Will Davidson, then followed by Valentino Astuti. Then it's Alex Gardner sitting second in the Trophy Cup, followed by then Josh Hunt and Paul Stokel in the last of the Trophy Cup cars, lining out the grid. The KFC and PC team, the Audi of Paul Stokel, and Matthew Stupas. So, what a race this is going to be. What a race. We've got 60 minutes plus 1 lap of racing. So, there's plenty of time, plenty of action still to come. Plus, of course, that one compulsory pit stop that has to be completed at some point in this race. The pit window does open after lap 1. So, if there's a safety car on lap 2, do you want to take that gamble and possibly come in, throw a fresh set of rubber at it and try and go for an undercut with your new driver? If I was someone down the back, possibly in the Pro-Am class, of course, after your compulsory pit stop, you must throw in your bronze driver, which of course are not the quicker drivers. The drivers that are in the cars right now are the quickest of the drivers this weekend, so keep that in note. Tagani Motorsport 66 Move My Wheels car. Both these cars have success ballast on them. The top 3 do have success ballast on them, so be warned of that. In position 1, 2, and 3. One of the Audis there in position 4, of which I could only imagine would be the Steve Brooks and Ryan Wood car, as now they line as stern. 2x2 for GT World Challenge Australia. Anything can happen, and anything will happen. As the 2 Mercedes cars sit 1-2 around the penultimate corner. They, of course, do have to run 2x2 all the way to the line. They cannot break out of this formation until, of course, that green light is on at the gantry. Once that happens, they can break out of formation. So, this is going to be good. Red lights are on. GT World Challenge Australia race number 2 is about to roar into life, and for the final time this weekend here at the Ben Motorsport Park, it's lights out and it's pedal to the metal and it's go, 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 go. And the run down to turn number 1 now will be the question. Can the Guy Valmont Mercedes lead down towards turn number 1? There, look to the outside goes Brock Feeney as he makes his run towards now turn number 1. Patterson in the 666 Audi as well, as they all run line astern, 3 wide, and one of the LEE Ferraris, and that around goes the 666 Patterson car. Around he will go. Unfortunately, Jaden Ojeda leads towards now, up towards turn 4, turn 5, and turn 6. Very good start. Yeah, very good start indeed. This race has been shortened by 8 minutes here in this one. As now they run towards turn 6 on the circuit. And out the other side, Patterson not had the start he would have wanted in this race. He's now down to position 15 with a spin on lap 1. Now through the corkscrew section. Once more, Jaden Ojeda followed by Brendan Leach, Brock Feeney in position 3, and Tom Randall in position 4. Ryan Wood rounds out the top 5 in this one. And of course, followed by Luke Hilden in position 6. So immediately the race calms down. And as I say that, they're one of the Ferraris looking up the inside. That look of Will Davison up the inside of Brad Gardner, looking for a move. Can he get that done? No, he cannot. But now round the outside there go. Looks goes Jackson Evans. They're going to be side by side. That's Oscar Target as well. Round the outside. And that is a move done from Jackson Evans up into position 7. And Luke Hilden in the process loses 2 spots. There Oscar Target and Jackson Evans as they all fan out 3 and 4 wide down towards turn number 1. Yeah, this is probably going to be the hecticest part of the race. Is now one of the Lamborghinis, Tony D'Alberto, getting that move done. Antonio D'Alberto, must I say. Getting that move done on Antonio Astuti. Can he get that move done? There is also, look, Josh Buchan and Will Davison there, sitting in behind Antonio Astuti and D'Alberto. Not been a good start for the Brad Gardner Trophy Cup car. Luke Hilden leads in Trophy Cup. So that is an interesting point of talk there, as Luke Hilden now gets overtaken by Antonio D'Alberto. Of course, that car will be handed off to Adrian Dietz come the pit stop. So, race now starting to unfold. Jaden Ojeda pulling a margin immediately. Back to Brendan Leach and then Brock Feeney in position 3 as he tries to carry the speed through the corner and keep up with what has been an absolute flying Tagani Motorsport car. This car already has success ballast on it after last round. Possibly looking to add more to it. Garnett Patterson into the pit lane. That's unfortunate. The 666 car already into pits. And this could count as one of its compulsory pit stops. No, it won't, because it's only on its first lap here, so this will not count as a compulsory pit stop. This 666 car will have to come back into the pit lane. And again, once the pit stops start, as now they look further back in the background, cars being forced out wide and a big plume of dust being kicked up in the process. So it's all going on. In the background, it's Davison and Buchan that were side by side for a moment there. And Paul Stokel was in on that. 666 Audi out of this race. So that's unfortunate. That car started P3. Actually out-qualified the Brock Feeney and Brad Schumacher car in qualifying, which was quite an interesting state of mind indeed, as there look Brock Feeney trying to get power down. Out towards the back part of the circuit now they go. And this has been an absolutely flying start from Jaden Ojeda. He's already got success ballast on this car, meaning this car overall is genuinely slower than every other car on this grid here. So very, very good to start off this race. As we take a look at the race replay of the race starts, as Jaden Ojeda to the inside run into turn number 1, and actually contact between the 666 and what was the Guy Valmont Mercedes, and then, oh, that's going to be a penalty. That is not going to be a good sight. That look was one of the Audis making contact with the 666 Audi. So that car's gone around. Everybody else having to take avoiding action towards turn number 1. Contact with the 666 and the 44 Guy Valmont Mercedes. It sort of put off Garnett Patterson, and that spat him around. That's unfortunate. One of the Ferraris there off in the background. That looks to be Jackson Evans He's just slightly off the road. No Jada, though, 1 second already. What a margin he's pulled. Will Davison, he's dropped back down the grid. I don't think he's actually got a problem. Our timings have been playing up a bit this weekend. So I don't think he's dropped. Not at this point. Unless I'm wrong. He'll look, though, as I say that is Will Davison. Sorry, that is Jackson. There's one of the Ferraris. That is Josh Buchan in position 12. We're currently looking at the moment. He's trying to hunt out. Oh, yes, it was a pit stop. So Will Davison with a drive-through penalty. So there you go. Will Davison serving a drive-through penalty, what seems to be. So that's unfortunate. That is Will Davison's race done. Unless, of course, he can try and make more time in this one. 46 minutes to go. There, Brock Feeney trying to apply the pressure to Brendan Leach. This car already has a 6S ballast on it, and it does seem to be struggling a little bit with this 6S ballast. It doesn't seem to have the pace it's had in the recent past. We did see a lot last year that this car worked well with its 6S ballast. Maybe a few tweaks, a few tunes, maybe a few different setups playing with this year. And it's just probably not showing the pace it had last year. Of course, the reigning champion, the number 1 Audi. Reigning champion, which is why it has the number 1 on it. Now down towards here, look, turn number 1. That is Jaden Ojeda making his run down towards turn 1. Once more, Brendan Leach, then followed by Brock Feeney, Tom Randall, Ryan Wood, rounding out your top 5. And you're just now starting to see here, Jaden Ojeda is controlling the race here. He's controlling the pace of the race, and the pace of the race at this point is a fast-flowing sort of energetic style to it. It very much has that. And we're starting to see that. Jaden Ojeda controlling the pace. Doing it quite well. Through turn 6 now. A drop off Cambo, part of the circuit. Just over 45 minutes to go. Quite a big weekend next weekend of streaming. We will have Formula 1, along with F1 Academy, and the FIA Formula 2 World Championship as well. Very spicy in that one. Loads of racing going on, along with the Australian F4 Championship, I think, returning next weekend. So, very good to see. And, of course, I will be commentating every single race, every single round, along with Porsche Carrera Cup Australia, Porsche Equity 1 Carrera Cup Australia, which will be happening at Hidden Valley in Darwin in just over 4 weeks' time. These guys return, though, in just over 3 weeks' time after this round. So it's a short turnaround between here and when, of course, we head off to Queensland Raceway, which always brings on some good action. Then we head off to the Bet Easy Darwin Triple Crown for round 5. Round 6, the finale at Sydney Motorsport Park. But there's nearly a 2-month gap between Darwin and what will be Darwin and the Bend. Darwin and Sydney. So, very big gap indeed. And, of course, for the finale, just under 45 minutes of racing still to go. We've stayed green so far. Nearly 2 seconds now, the gap. Jaden Ojeda, Brendan Leach in position 2. Success ballast is very much affecting that 44 Mercedes in terms of its overall pace. Definitely affecting it. As now they make their run through. Will Davison was one of the fastest cars out on track last time around. So, of course, with that clear air, with that drive-through penalty, he can just try and make up as much time as possible throughout the next 43 minutes and 17, 16, 15, and so on seconds to go left in this race. You can just try and fill in that time, try and make up time that he's lost from that drive-through penalty. As now here, look, this is Brendan Leach sitting close in behind. Behind is Brock Feeney. And then, of course, Tom Randall in position 4. And Oscar Target in position 6. This is Ryan Ward at the moment. Sitting in position 5. Starting to form a bit of a train here. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Very much starting to see a train form. If you're enjoying the stream, hit the like button, subscribe. Very much help out. Margin though, 1.6 seconds. No Jada. Back to Brendan Leach. Here, look, the Lamborghini. This is the 93. Antonio D'Alberto on board that car at the moment. We'll, of course, hand that car over to Adrian Dietz when the pit stops do get underway. Just over 40 minutes to go as we currently at the moment look at Tony D'Alberto. Of course, in the recent past was a co-driver with Fabian Coulthard, who earlier on today was engineering someone, Eric Constantidis, in the Porsche Michelin GT3 Cup. So that was very good to see. And now his former Bathurst 1000 or his Enduro teammate here in GT World Challenge Australia. So that's amazing to see. But of course, Tony D'Alberto's brother, Antonio D'Alberto, racing this weekend, which is good to see. So this is the 666 car of Garnet Patterson and John Paul Drake now making its way back out onto pit road. We'll see actually if this car does exit pit lane and back onto the circuit. Again, this car is over 4 laps down. But again, just running can score you good points this weekend. So we'll see how that rolls for the drivers. See how that rolls for that 666 Audi. But at the moment, sitting on pit lane is the 666, and we'll see if that car does make its way back out onto circuit. We'll have to wait and find out. But that car is about 4 or 5 laps down nearly, as I say that. So there you go. Now through the corkscrew section, once more goes No Jada. Teams now will be starting to think about some pit stops. There you go. Confirmation, our live timing saying 5 laps down. Garnet Patterson and John Paul Drake. Of course, we'll have to make a compulsory pit stop as well. So have to keep that in mind. As now they make that one through the hairpin. All sorts of sideways there on the exit. And once more applying the power. 1.7 seconds. No Jada, Brendan Leach. This margin continuing to increase. And as that happens, we'll start to see some pit stops unfold as well. So Will Davison last time around was the fastest car out on track. As now we look at the 71 Porsche and Antonio Astuti going side by side now into the final corner. Luke Kilden will run out of road and it'll be way up on the ripple strip and actually kick a bit of dust there is Luke Kilden. This battle, P9, P10, side by side now towards turn number 1. Who'll be late under brakes? It looks like it is the number 2 Audi of Antonio Astuti. And he gets that move done. But now, what seems to be with a pace of the 71 of Luke Kilden just now seems to be falling back. And he'll be into the clutches of the 2nd place car in the trophy class, which is currently sitting P11, about 2.2 seconds off the lead of the trophy class. So we'll see how that rolls. Josh Buchan in position 12. Ben Hunt then in 3rd in the trophy class and was leading. Brad Gardner in position 14 now will, of course, hand that car over from Brad Gardner. So the Aston Martin will hand that car over to, sorry, that's Alex Gardner. Ben Porter will jump in that car when it comes time to roll through the pit stops. As we keep a close, keen eye on this battle, but it does seem like Antonio Astuti just has that pace. There you go, last time around there. Once more, Jaden Ojeda, fastest lap of the race. And I think he might continue that, possibly, and does so. Another fast lap of the race for Jaden Ojeda. Using the Pirelli tyres underneath him. Now starting to pull away. Here now we look at this battle for second and third. This is Brendan Leach and Brock Feeney. Almost identical on lap times. Actually, Brock Feeney about 0.3 faster on that last lap. On that last lap, it was Brock Feeney that was about 0.3 faster. But they're almost doing identical lap times. 47.6 plays a 47.9. So overall, it is, 0.3. Some teams, of course, might not think of pit stops until about 5-10 minutes time, so that you can really maximize that pro driver before you throw in that bronze driver that, again, doesn't have the pace of the pro driver. You want to try and use the pro driver up as much as possible in the early part of the race, and of course throw the bronze driver in for a good 25 minutes of this race before then rounding the race out. Of course, there is that choice to change the Pirelli rubber that's underneath you onto a set of new tyres, but you can only do 2 tyres, so whatever tyres you decide to do, the tyres you have to stay on for the rest of the race. You can do front, you can do rear, but you cannot do all 4. So we'll see what happens there. 35 minutes to go. And there's actually a battle now going on in the trophy class, for the battle for the trophy lead, Luke Hilden and Paul Stokel. Luke Hilden definitely has seemed to be struggling with that car's pace a little bit this weekend. It's very much been evident throughout the whole weekend. As there, look, Brendan Leach covering ever so slightly. But it's definitely showing Luke Hilden and Paul Stokel the more or less slackened pace that it seems to be. We look at the moment, this battle pack between Ryan Wood and Oscar Target. Overall, it's about Ryan Woods. It seems to be a little bit quicker than Oscar Target in these last couple of laps. Last 2, 3, 4 laps, it definitely has been the way of Ryan Wood compared to Oscar Target. Again, Oscar Target does have a 2-second margin back to Jackson Evans. Back to Jackson Evans, it is Antonio D'Alberto, Antonio Astuti, Luke Hilden, who's currently in a battle for the lead in the Trophy Cup. Back to Paul Stokel. Here, this is the 268 Audi, the Castrol Audi, sitting at the moment in position 4, trying to hunt down Brock Feeney, but again, that car does seem to be quick in this race. Cooler temperatures, not much UV on the circuit, maybe just might be helping that Audi turn on a little bit. And again, I think as the weekend's gone on, that Audi, the 3rd place Audi, the number 1 Audi, just has turned on a little bit. It's the track rubbered in throughout the weekend. It just seems as if that car has turned on a little bit more. The Audi definitely wasn't there in qualifying. Definitely didn't seem to have the pace that you would more or less suspect from a championship running car. And now just seem to have turned on a little bit. So, field now has spread out. Already have 1 drive-through penalty and a car spinning on that first lap, of course. Garnett Patterson in position 16 now. But possibly that won't change because he's 5 laps down. But he has a bit of clear air now. Of course, the leaders at some point, I'm guessing, will catch him. As to when that happens, keep you updated on that. Yeah, so there is our race leader, Gino Jetta, leading out in front, 1.4 seconds. Brendan Lynch back to Brock Feeney. Middle part of this race here, drivers are now setting down into their rhythm before of course, those compulsory pit stops get underway. Here is, this is a battle for the Trophy Cup class. And then, of course, just in behind, Josh Buchan. So this isn't, Josh Buchan, of course, is not in the Trophy Cup class. Those are for the old, experienced drivers. But the AED Consulting by Tagani Motorsport car, very much under pressure here. This is for a battle first in Trophy Cup class, 10th and 11th overall. But this is spicing up here. This is going to be a good battle. And it might even become a battle in the pit lane as well. If, of course, Luke Kilden can hold off. If he can hold off, then good on him. But the pit stop will be probably the biggest talking point in this race. The trophy class, practically the bronze class for all the bronze rated drivers. That is practically what the trophy class is. Practically just a bronze lineup of cars in the bronze class. So I call it the trophy class. It is genuinely, though, just bronze rated drivers that sit in these cars. Jada, though, 1.5 seconds now. Back to Brendan Leach. Maybe the field might shuffle around a little bit, of course, once we do get to pit stops. Maybe Brendan Leach might jump him. And I think that's what the 44 Guy Valmont Mercedes team are hoping they can do. Possibly jump Jada in pit lane. Try and quicken up that driver change. You never know, you might even jump Jada off pit lane. So, see if that theory does come true. But Luke Hilden and Paul Stokel, P10, P11 at the moment, that battle is. As now into pit road goes the 666 car, now taking its compulsory pit stop. Yeah, compulsory pit stop now going underway, trying to give that pro driver as much time in the car as possible. Of course, Garnet Patterson will hop out. John Paul Drake will get in that car. Pro-Am class, so you do have a pro driver and an AM driver, which is almost the bronze driver as well. So that's practically what Pro-Am is. So Garnet Patterson helping John Paul Drake get into the car, doing up the net on the left-hand side of the driver, and that car will pull away. Interesting to see the stop and slow signs that some of these teams have. They're using signs that you'd see off the side of the road to yeah, it's cool. It's cool. So into pit road now. Battle in the bronze class. This is for first in the bronze class, and you look here. Paul Stokel has closed in on pit lane, and they know what this means. Yeah, there's going to be a bit of urgency in this pit stop here. Out comes Paul Stokel. Out comes Paul Stokel. In goes Matthew Stupas. Of course, this is the 71 car. This is the 71 Porsche. Luke Hilden out. Nathan Holstead in. This is important. Brad Gardner in as well. Alex Gardner hopping out. Ben Porter getting in to that car. This is a battle on pit road. 71 Porsche does seem to be done first. Of course, you do have to hold for a certain amount of time to actually get going, and the 71 Porsche pulls out and is stalled. That car didn't get going, now has gotten going. So, there we go. Nathan Holstead stays out in front in the rated class. Very, very good to see. And now it's going to be a matter of trying to hold on to that position. Possibly the margin might have extended a little bit. 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th are the only cars that have made a pit stop so far in this race. The only cars that have made a pit stop, but from 1st down to 12th have not made a pit stop so far. So keep that in mind, as this is the 4th place running Castrol Audi. You would expect within the next lap or two that the leaders would start to file in. The Pro-Am class would start to now file in here into pit lane. See how that works. So the bronze class did not decide. I don't think any team within the bronze class changed tyres, as far as I'm aware. No, they didn't. So Jaden Ojeda, I would expect him possibly to peel in this lap. If not, that would be quite interesting. I would expect him to peel in, because he does have to serve that pit stop. Does he peel in? No, he doesn't. So Jaden Ojeda not peeling in this lap, deciding to go 1 or 2 more. Again, the team will just try and get the maximum of Jaden Ojeda in this race. And then, of course, get Jaden Ojeda out of that car and put Paul Cheney in. That would be the plan for that Mercedes crew. And Brendan Leach sitting in P2. So this race has very much calmed down. Drivers have found a rhythm. Just over 25.5 minutes to go. Two seconds, Ojeda to Leach. Of course, supporting the Shannon Speed Series is, of course, GT World Challenge Australia. They will be supporting the Shannon Speed Series for most of the season. Actually, all of the season, if I'm being completely honest with you. Now, up towards the top part of the circuit goes the drivers, Jaden Ojeda, Brendan Leach, Brock Feeney. Possibly expect them to be in this lap. Or unless, are they taking a bit more time and might even change tyres, some of the top running cars. That is a play. You can do that. So, you can do that if you want to. Does Brendan Leach pull in this time around? Yes, he does. And I think Jaden Ojeda did as well. Yes, there, look, just in the back, just in the front of shot, starting to pull in this time around. And see how this pit stop unfolds. So, Jaden Ojeda pulls in. 2.2 seconds as he come into pit lane. There, all the pro class cars are pulling into pit lane. So, very busy on pit lane right now. The Move My Wheel 66 Mercedes now into pit lane. So is the Ferrari, deciding to change tyres on the ARGT car. 66 Move My Wheels car. Of course, that car. Jaden Ojeda jumping out. Paul Cheney jumping in. The LEE car. The 26 Ferrari. ARGT car. Jackson Evans jumping out. Elliot Shute getting in. But watch out for this 66 car. Of course, watch out for the guy Valmont car. That car, Brendan Leach, Sergio Perez will jump into that car. But it's action on pit lane. Getting us to start up the cars that are about to pull away. You did see the 26 Ferrari as well change tyres. I think the leading Mercedes did as well. So, noted. Possibly leading Mercedes did as well. And jumping in on pit lane, Brad Schumacher sits second, and I think Brendan Leach had a problem. Brendan Leach has had a problem on pit lane. Sergio Perez down to 4th. Brad Schumacher up to second, gaining on pit lane. And Sergio Perez is dropping. He's dropped back to 7th. Sergio Perez has dropped back to 7th in this one. And Schumacher up to 2nd. Wow. That is huge. And now you've got a whole... You've still got a chunk of this race. Yes, you've got 22 minutes. But what has happened to the 44 guy Valmont Mercedes? College 56. Is that the 268 running to the back of 56? No. But getting sideways as he tries to put the power down. I think it was just a horde of cars. Oh. 268 trying to pass out a pit lane. Of course, he cannot cross that white line. As to if he did cross the white line, maybe is the Rosser car in trouble? Is the 268 in trouble? Possibly for crossing that white line on the exit of pit lane. It could be a state of play here, possibly. Mark Rosser through the top of the circuit now. We're hunting down the 88 of Brooks. That 88 pit stop. Steve Brooks and Ryan Wood, very nicely done. They jumped the Castrol entry car as well. So, getting out of that car was Ryan Wood. Jumped in was Steve Brooks, and he's jumped Tom Randall and Mark Rosser on pit road. So, that's very good to see. Porter and Holstead, of course, have just had a battle. Porter's gone up to 2nd in the trophy class. Oh, big slide there from Brad Schumacher. Cold tyres. That would be big lockup into turn 1 there. Brad Schumacher, he nearly speared the car off the road as well. That would have been nowhere near good for the Audi team. Of course, he did a similar thing in race number 1. Lost the rear end of the car and has spat the car around in the process. So a similar thing was done in race number 1 for that Audi, and they can't afford to do it again. So, Paul Cini leading out in front. Still got 20 minutes of this race to go. Definitely has felt like one of those slow-paced races today. It's definitely got that vibe to it. Just a bit over 20 minutes to go. This is our leader in the bronze class, Matthew Stupas. Currently sitting in position 12, putting the power down. The exit of turn 6 up through turn 7. And turn 8, 9, 10, 11. The twiddly parts of the circuit, then through turn 12, 13. Sorry, turn 10, 11, and 12 is the chicane. As you make your on through, out through turn 13, down through turn 14, 15, 16, turn 17, and then down through turn 18 and get that one on to the front straight. So, last lap or two. Brad Schumacher, on what we've predicted is new tyres, is now hunting down our race leader, of which is Paul Uccini. And the last lap, he's closed by 3 tenths nearly. He was 4 tenths faster on that last lap, Brad Schumacher. So Brad Schumacher, 4 tenths faster on that last lap. Now, I don't think the 66 Mercedes did tyres in that pit stop. As here, look, it's battle for 6th and 7th. Shoot and Perez. Perez trying to make his way back through the grid. Can he do so? Is now fighting the car on the rear end. Now, we did see the guy Valmont Mercedes take tyres. Oh, no, that was the Ferrari. I stand corrected. That was the ARGT Ferrari throwing on rear tyres. And Brad Schumacher's flying at the moment. Fastest out of anyone through the first sector. So Brad Schumacher's flying. And the closest really anyone's got to Paul Uccini inside a second. Yeah, at least through this first stint as well. Oh, off the road goes the 44 Mercedes. Pushing way, way too hard. And it's dipped a wheel in the gravel. And you can see the witness marks. The dirt now that's on that car. That was close. The guy Valmont Mercedes being pushed to its limits. by Sergio Perez as he tries to make his way back through the grid. After being held up, what it seems to be, in the pit lane. Look at this! A battle for the race lead now. This, the number 1 Audi of Brad Schumacher and Paul Lucchini. We are going to have some action. And Brad Schumacher's closed by a second a lap the last few laps. And that time around, it was 4/10. And Paul Lucchini has nothing. Nothing in the back pocket of that car to do really anything at this point. Tagani Motorsport crew watching on. So Brad Schumacher, Brock Feeney car starting to close in onto the back of Paul Lucchini. Welcome in, Harrison. Starting ever so slowly to close in. It was last 2 laps, if you're just joining, second a lap, that number 1 Audi of Brock Feeney and Brad Schumacher. Onto the back of Paul Lucchini, 7/10 now the margin. 16.5 minutes to go. We've got a fight in our hands right to the end of this race. And the other thing is Brad Schumacher, he has margin to play with. He can make 1 or 2 mistakes and not be caught by Tim Brooks behind. He's 10 seconds back. I looked at the margin as he came out of pit lane, and that margin was 7 seconds, just showing the margin that he's clawed into Paul Lucchini. Again, these Pirellis are very durable. It does seem as if he has changed tyres through that pit stop, which has given him the extra grip underneath him that he's needed to close in. Closing. Goes the number 1 Audi. And track limits warning to Brad Schumacher. Just popped up on the gantry. He's closing in on the brakes and, front left locker. Nearly winded to turn up 1 there, Brad Schumacher. Just shows how hard he's pushing this car. He's now right on the back. I'm trying a different camera angle. I decided, why not? And plus, I don't have anywhere to put my phone. Where I normally put it, I can't put it because it'd just fall off. So I'm trying a different camera angle. Brad Schumacher right on the rear ends, right on the bumper bar of Paul Lucchini. Now through the fast right-hander, through the twiddly bits up through turn 10, 11, 12. Now drop through turn 13, the fast right-hander, and now through the chicane. If you can set up a good run through the chicane, which is not close enough, but Brad Schumacher is flying. Good to see. Max is still in first place. Where's the Ford Mustang? Is he out? Is he outside the top 10? Is he outside the top 10? Is he outside the top 10? And how many hours are left? I think there's like 6 hours and 50 minutes something. 13th, okay. I think there's like 5 hours and 50 minutes. Brad Schumacher, very deep into that hairpin down there. Turn 12. Turn 12 hairpin. Sorry, turn 17. From being stand corrected there. That was very deep into the corner though. Brad Schumacher, 5 hours and 50 minutes left, but I'm not going to watch the rest because I have to go to, it finishes at like 11. Yeah, well, I watched the start of the race last night. They take 20 minutes to do a formation though. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Brad Schumacher though, closing onto the back. I'll probably watch until about 9 o'clock, 9:30. To be honest, so that's another like 4.5 hours. And then there's like that 1 hour and 30 minutes that I can just rewatch. 13 minutes and 30 seconds to go left in this one. As Brad Schumacher closes in, the margin back to Tim Brooks. 13 seconds. I'm still watching until like 9:30. Yeah. How'd the Knights go? Did they win? Watch him say no, just because it's our luck. How'd the Knights go? They did win. Awesome. What was the score? As Paulicini makes his run. We're at 36-12. Yes. Very nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. $12 minutes, 34 seconds to go left in this one. Maybe has Brian. Wow, big slide on the exit of the curb, and you can see there the evidence as he's kicked up the dust in the background. When you told me that the Ford was slow, I had a heart attack. Well, I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong. He was slow. I think he's lost like 2 laps to the leaders as well, because he slowed as he turned onto the Nordschleifer. As you turn off left onto the Nordschleifer, the tyre blew. I think he might have run over like a bit of gravel, which has punctured the tyre, which is unlucky. But yeah, they said it. It was like he's come onto the Nordschleifer and the tyre's been cut by something. So look, you have to have good luck to even try and win at the Nordschleifer or the Nürburgring. It was a live stream of a Ford, and I was watching it, and then it slowed down as he told me. Oh, that was awful. That is awful. That is awful. But yeah, now that car's out of contention, I would only think, because no safety cars. There's no safety cars. You don't get that chance to close in again. It's coming 10th now. Oh, there you go. So it's making ground. 5 hours. Oh yeah, pit stops would be underway. It'd be pit stops. That's probably why it's finally up the order. It's probably pit stops. 10.5 minutes to go. Brad Schumacher now closing in to the back of Paulicini. He's been there, but has he just burnt out his rears a bit too much? It's raining. Oh, what? It's raining. Jesus Christ. There, look, one of the cars just up in front. That is Nathan Holstead. Closing in. Well, the Bandit's dry at the moment, so. At the moment, I say that. Second running is Brad Schumacher as Nathan Holstead moves out of the way. And this is going to be a pain round the outside, Brad Schumacher. That was close, and there's been dust being kicked up in the background. I watched the replay of all the cars slipping, and it literally looks like there's ice on it. Yeah. It took nearly 30 minutes for one of the recovery cars to get there. And that section of circuit was under code 60 for like 30 minutes. Because it took 30 minutes for a course car to get down there to actually, like, put, like, I don't know, cement dust down so that cars aren't speeding off the road. There was like 4 cars, 6 cars that speared off the road. It was insane. And I love how the moment you leave to go watch the footy, it gets all exciting. So, it's raining really badly now, and there's literally in the middle of the track. I haven't even gone to the pets yet, so I don't know. It's raining really badly. Oof. They did say it was meant to rain like 9 o'clock there. Like within the last 3 to 5 hours, it was meant to rain for a good hour. So I suppose that makes sense. As now here we look at Rosser and Brooks looking for a move there possibly. So this is the 56 Mercedes. Brooks and Shane Smolin. Yeah, what my nose, flipping heck. Awful. Awful. Absolutely awful. Tim Brooks there, position 4, Shane Smolin starting to close up. Just over 8 minutes to go. Max just, oh, what? What? You're kidding. You're kidding. You're trying to troll me, buddy. You're trying to troll, show me. Send me a message right now. Harrison. Send me a message right now and show me. Paul Cheney, meanwhile, closing up on the back. Damn it, it worked. I'm not falling for your little games, buddy. I'm not falling for it. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. 1/10 the margin coming through the second sector. Paul Cheney and Brad Schumacher. So Brad Schumacher definitely not close enough to pull a move. 7.5 minutes to go. GT World Challenge Australia. Max is behind Porsche. That's going on 2K an hour. That's crazy. And that, oh, there you go. So that was the 66 Mercedes has gone wide, and the Audi just did not have the traction to get a move done. That was close. There on the replay. So Paul Lucchini was wide on the exit of turn 6. He was deep into turn 6 as he's tried to pull a margin. And it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked in the end. Brad Schumacher, though, he's definitely close. Speaking of Mercedes, are coming first and second. Huge! They've been first and second for the last 10 hours. Literally, Mercedes have been first and second for the last... since I started watching at 7:30 this morning. And it's now 5 o'clock in the afternoon. They've been in the first two cars for at least 10 hours. Nobody has caught them for 10 hours, those two. And since about probably 9 o'clock, the Verstappen car's been leading. I watched it at that time. I know. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Meanwhile, for GT World Challenge Australia, I'm trying to read chat messages and keep an eye on this. Paul Cheney sitting in first. Every time they get close, there's a chat message that pops up. And I need to read it. It's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. There's battles going on not only at the Nürburgring, but here at the Bend. First and second. The Lamborghini Red Bull 84 car has a 30-second time. That car was on pole. And he had a puncture at the start of the round. Oh, well, that's a shocking end to the weekend. Oh. That was the pole sitter that had a puncture on lap 1. And now he's got a 30-second time penalty. Oh my god. The luck. The luck of the Nürburgring. Cannot have any luck at the Nordschleife. It's just not possible. He was driving too fast in pit lane. Oh. They did say that was under investigation. Before I left to stream this. So, they've obviously proven him guilty at some point. And it hasn't ended well for him. The margin now. Brad Schumacher back to Rosser. It is 24 seconds. Brad Schumacher and Paul Lucchini in a race of their own. What a margin. 24.7 seconds. And now 28 seconds. Brad Schumacher and Paul Lucchini are lighting the circuit up. Absolutely flying with 4 minutes to go. That margin was 8 seconds when Brad Schumacher came out of pit road. Again, you've got to note that the Brad Schumacher number 1 Audi, Porsche get a podium at least, but I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, no, BMW's third, I think. One of the BMWs is third. The 911 Porsche is out. The 911 Porsche is out. Because it hit the fence. I can't remember where the other Porsche is. I think the other Porsche is like 6th or something. I'm not sure. It's something like that though. It's like, I don't know. Maybe 5th or 6th, either one. I'm not sure. As at the moment we're currently looking here at the Shane Smolin and Tim Brooks battle. It's for, of course, 4th and 5th. The Ford is cooking its 9th now. Are there pit stops going though? are pit stops happening. Because it's about every 40 to 50 minutes that pit stops happen. And I think the last pit stop rotation was just about an hour ago. So, we'll see. So we cut back to the race leaders. 2.5 minutes to go. He pitted like 2 laps ago. Oh, wow. So the Ford Mustang pitted 2 laps ago. Jesus. Flipping heck. 2.5 minutes to go. I think Paul Lucchini might have this in the bag, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, might have this in the bag. Brock Feeney watches on from pit road. Possibly thinking to himself, is this going out of our hands? It's coming back, but probably in like an hour, I'm going to crash, and then I'm going to... It is, it's coming back, and then the Ford will end up bloody... it'll crash, like, I don't know, as it comes onto the Nordschleife or something. It'll do something stupid and spin and roll or something. And it'll finish the race or something. That it's every chance that happens. It's every chance. Paul Lucchini, though, this has been a drive and a half. 8 tenths now, so maybe Brad Schumacher's tyres. Again, he boxed nearly 20 laps ago. Fuck, 20 laps, Jesus. He boxed nearly 20 minutes ago, so I would only imagine that those tyres are starting to feel a little bit weary now. He's taken the life out of the tyres, but has he taken a bit too much out of it? Possibly. If you're enjoying the stream, though, hit like button, subscribe. It would very much help out. Paul Lucchini leading out in front, 7 tenths the margin. Back to then Rosser, Brooks, Smolin, Shoot, Pierre, Sergio Perez. It's Dean Curry off the road, goes one of the Ferraris. Way off the road. And that, I think, was Elliott Shoot, if I'm not wrong. Or it could have been Campbell. I think it was. I think it was Campbell. So Matt Stupas now, this is the 24 Audi, now leads in the trophy class, and he leads by 3 seconds. Back to Porter, Holstead out of this race. The weird BMW 81 car is coming fourth. Oof. Awful. Dave, I think that car is nearly 6 minutes off the lead. I think that was the BMW that was 6 minutes off the lead. No, it was 6 minutes off third. It's like nearly 8 minutes off the lead. I think it's 6 minutes off third and 8 minutes off the lead. Something like that. As you mean 6 minutes? Yes, I meant 6 minutes. It's I reckon it's probably close to going a lap down at this point. I think it's, to be honest, I reckon it's close to going a lap down. As now we start the final lap of this race. Final lap has begun, and Paul Lucchini has 4.912 kilometres to hold off Brad Schumacher and the Brock Feeney car. And of course, this would be another success ballast onto this car as well. This would add more success ballast, more weight to this car, making it slower in a straight line, but quicker through the corners. So we'll see what happens. Brock Feeney eagerly watching on, saying, Brad, do something. Now out of turn 6, up through 7, 8, 9, 10, rising through the top part of the circuit. Now the drop. Down to the bottom. Can Brad Schumacher do anything through the corkscrew? Flick the car right, flick the car left. But I don't think it's been enough for the Paul Lucchini and Brad Schumacher car. For the Paul Lucchini, sorry, not Paul Lucchini and Brad Schumacher. Not enough for the Paul Lucchini car. Not enough. Sorry, for the Brad Schumacher car, not the Paul Lucchini. Not enough for the Brad Schumacher car to catch Paul Lucchini in the 66. Move My Wheels by Tagani Motorsport. Makes his run through turn 17. Down the back straight. Paul Lucchini and Jaden Ojeda have just done a miracle. It's 2 in a row. GT World Challenge Australia is absolutely dominated by Paul Lucchini. What a weekend. 2 weekends in a row. He wins race 2. Back to back goes Paul Lucchini and holds off Brad Schumacher of what was a charging Brad Schumacher at the very end there. Mark Rosser, Tim Brooks, Elliot Shute, Shane Smolin, Sergio Perez, Dean Curry, Adrian Dietz, Jeff Emery, Matt Campbell, Stupas, Gracie, Porter, Holstead, and John Paul Drake rounding out the grid. But this guy, Valmont Mercedes, awful luck this weekend. Awful luck. Rounds out in 7th. It should have been the win. He had the fastest lap of the race there at the end. Brad Schumacher, and actually, surprisingly, Sergio Perez were trading fastest laps at the end there. So 2nd and 7th were trading fastest laps. That's unfortunate. The Luke Hilden and Nathan Holstead car, they started off pole position in the bronze class and finished last in the bronze class. So just shows possibly the lack of pace that is for that car. Meanwhile, that is our Trophy Cup winner, our bronze class winner. Very nicely done. Crosses the line. Position 1 in the trophy class, or more or less the bronze class, to round out the weekend. Wow. Move My Wheels by Tagani Motorsport. Jaden Ojeda and Paul Lucchini win this one. Of Brad Schumacher, Mike Rosser, Steve Brooks, Elliot Shute, Shane Smolin, Sergio Perez, Dean Curry, Adrian Dietz, Jeff Emery, Cameron Campbell, Matt Stupas wins the trophy/bronze class. Rene Gracie, Porter, Nathan Holstead last and a lap down, and still last in the bronze class, and last overall is the Team BRM. Grenade Patterson and John Paul Drake Audi for the Team BRM squads. That was GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS, and it was not a bad race. Not a bad race. And of course, next time out, we head off to Queensland Raceway. I'm hoping I can do that weekend live. 34 Aston Martin. Wow. 32-second time penalty. Jesus. I'm hoping I can do next time out live. It will be in about 3 weeks' time, though. So, still got quite a long way until then. But that is all the streaming done for this week. Absolutely amazing weekend it has been. Going too fast under yellow flag. Oof. Jesus. Aston Martin not having a good weekend. Not at all. Not at all. So, Paul Lucchini pulls on to pit road and will do so in quite a manly fashion. That has been quite a win, and I don't think he wins the round, does Paul Lucchini. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. But this car now leads the championship overall here. Aston Martin still leads in the bronze class in the championship. The bronze class championship still leads in that. So it's good to see. Actually, let me check that. I got it down. Yep. Still leads in the bronze class. Does the Aston Martin. The 14 Aston Martin still leads in the bronze class. So that's very good to see. And we'll have rounded off the weekend in very nice style. Paul Lucchini, though, and Jaden Ojeda just didn't seem to be stopped. I mean, yes, you've got to say Paul Lucchini was under pressure. Up the Jack Smith. Up the Jack Smith. Up the Jackson Evans. You've got to say, though, Paul Lucchini definitely did come under a bit of pressure there by Brad Schumacher, and Paul Lucchini was definitely pushing at the end there. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But the Move My Wheels by Tagani Motorsport, Paul Lucchini and Jaden Ojeda car comes out on top at the end of this weekend. And, of course, next time out, we head off to the wonderful Queensland Raceway. Not as complex as this circuit. Not as spread out. more safety cars are to be expected. Not a safety car throughout this weekend. I don't know, BMW is coming fourth. Okay, well, I'm going to end streaming it. I'm going to go ahead and go watch the Nürburgring 24 hours. Maybe jump on call with Harrison if his lazy fat ass can be bothered to. And yeah, enjoy my week off before next weekend. Not only doing Frecker, Formula One, F1 Academy, F2, and possibly Australian F4 as well. So a big weekend of streaming next weekend. I'm going to enjoy a good old week off. As you could probably tell, I'm actually a tiny bit sick. So hopefully I'm not going to be sick for next weekend because it is quite a big weekend of streaming. And yeah, should be good. Should be good. But the Pollicini and Jade I Move My Wheels number 66 car rounds out on top in the end. If you guys did enjoy, hit like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one for next week when of course we have Freck, Australian F4, F1, F2, and F1 Academy. It's all coming up next weekend. Catch you then. Bye bye.